Hello, fellow whiskey hunters. Whiskey Hunter here. Welcome to the Linen Closet. Thanks for joining me again today. No live hunt today, but I do have a story for you. So, I went into a Bevmo. This is a few years ago, and there sitting on the shelf was a Four Roses small batch limited edition, which is an allocated bourbon. You typically don't just see those sitting out on a shelf. They're snagged pretty damn fast, and a lot of stores don't get them, and I think retail's like $99 on them, and secondary prices, I don't know, $200 to $300, crazy as bourbons are. And anyway, I do drink some bourbons. I'm not a huge bourbon fan, but Four Roses limited edition, have to pick it up, and I did pick it up. And it sat in my closet for a while. Well, I was at a get-together of a tasting of my local group, which is really a bourbon and beer group. One of my local groups, bourbon and sour beers. And I didn't bring these bottles, but when I was talking there to a group of people, one of the guys says, I'm really not into single malts, but I've got a few, and I mentioned how I had a couple of these Four Roses. I think this may have been in 2014. And he said, oh, I really love those. I'd like to get hold of some. I said, well, what whiskey do you have that, since you don't drink Scotch much, are you willing to trade? So he said he had a Highland Park. And those of you that know me, I'm a huge fan of Highland Park, especially 25 year and up. So he told me he had a 25 year, and I said, well, would you be willing to trade? He says, sure. So I offered him my two Four Roses, and he offered me his Highland Park, which I thought was really a great deal. Yes, it's gone up the last few years, but still it was a great deal then. So it just shows you you never know where you're going to find a successful hunt. And this is just at a get-together. However, I didn't realize the 25 year he was bringing me was this bottle. So this is not your typical looking container for a 25 year. Let me show you a little closer here. This 25 year is older. Let me open this up. It's got a nice case. There you go. I can't really see it as I'm behind it. Let me take this bottle out. It's got some nice writing in there. This bottle does not look like the 25 year bottles you find in stores today. Why is that? Because it's an older bottling. This is a 2000 bottling of Highland Park 25 year. It's 51.5% ABV. And this old juice, right? So 1975, it was distilled and, like I said, bottled in 2000. These older bottles are just unbelievable in taste. The color's dark mahogany. I will open this one day, but God knows what the value of this. I'm not even sure the value of it today. But 2 bottles of Four Roses for a 2000 year Highland Park 25 year. Great deal, great hunt. Not really a hunt, just gabbing with somebody about Scotch and bourbon. Look what comes up. All right, so I've got this group I moderate on Facebook called Scotch Addicts. What a great community. Jim started this, it could be 4 years. I joined the group within the month of starting. We probably only had 20, 30 members. I moderate the group. We are about to hit 5,000 members. 5,000 Scotch addicts in our community. It's an unbelievable group. Everybody is so friendly, and it's really a community. Wow, it's windy out. It's really a great community, and some people were talking about Glenmorangie. And I mentioned that I'm not a big fan. You know, I just don't like the taste profile of that distiller. I've tried the La Santa, the Quinta Rubin, the Nectar d'Or, and I just don't find it appealing to my taste buds. And they're raving about the Signet. And the Signet runs, I don't know, 190 to 230, I guess, approximately retail out here in California. And really, I'm not going to spend that kind of money unless I really like something. And I'm not just going to try a bottle like that, especially since I don't like the other, the taste profile of that distiller. So one of the members there of my group were kind enough to surprise me and send me a sample, which I got actually yesterday. That's what I'm going to try for you today. He sent me the sample bottle, Glenmorangie Signet. And I told him when I got it, I'd try it in my review, and here we are. And by the way, if you are on Facebook, look up Scotch Addicts, join our group, and say hello to the Whisky Hunter. We have a good number of YouTube reviewers that are part of our community as well. So stop in and say hi. All right, let's take a look at this. This is, I'd say, kind of a honey gold color. It's a nice color. I'm not sure, since I don't have the bottle, if this, I don't know anything about this as far as chill filtration and coloring. I don't know if any's added. Maybe someone can comment below and let me know. But let's look at the legs on this. I'll tell you that they're very slow forming, right? Some of them are dropping down, but here we go. I'm assuming it's fairly viscous and the whiskey has some age to it. This is a non-age statement whiskey. I'm not a big advocate of that. I like to know what's in my whiskey, what I'm paying for. But you know, it is what it is. So this is 46% ABV. It's a Highland. It's 100% malted barley. I do know, because I did research this a little bit, that they use primarily two types of barley, and that's a malted chocolate barley and a Cadbull barley, which is close to the distillery. The Cadbull infuses a creaminess, so they say, to the whiskey, and the chocolate barley, of course, gives you a chocolate flavor to it, a cocoa, coffee flavor and taste is what I've read about it. Again, I don't know. We're going to find out. The nose. I smell some sherry. I don't get I mean, you know, when they say chocolate barley, I'm assuming I'm going to pick up a ton of chocolate in here. I do know that they use this barley in craft beers, but I'm not, though I do belong to a bourbon and beer group, I'm not a huge beer drinker. I also know this is aged in ex-sherry Spanish oak and new charred oak. So, like I said, I do get some sherry. I guess I get kind of not so much a kind of like a vanilla bean, kind of maybe a vanilla coffee bean. This has been sitting in the glass 25, 30 minutes. They say that there's whiskey in here aged up to 35 or 40 years. I don't know. I'm assuming really there's very little if it's whiskey is that old in this dram. Otherwise, they put an age statement on it and sell it for a lot more. I get oak, maybe a bit of espresso. It's kind of doughy. It's got kind of a raw cookie dough smell. I remember eating that cookie dough as a kid, right? When your mom's going to throw it in the oven and you're scooping the dough out and eating it. There may be a little bit of a rum aroma to it. It's better than I'm turned off by most Glenmorangies. This is better. Let's taste it. It's got a prickly mouthfeel. It's a little astringent to me on the taste. I'm not getting the smoothness you'd expect from a 35 or 40-year-old, if that's in there. I'm getting the astringency of a younger whiskey. I get the oaky. I get an oaky taste. There's a malt there, but it's not a. I don't get a sweet maltiness to it. I'm gonna have another sip. Like I've said before, the first sip acclimates your taste buds. The second sip really allows you to taste it. So let's find out. There is a rumminess to it. It's a little drying. I get maybe a hint of almond cookie, and there's maybe an orange zest or combination orange lemon zest. I don't get as much of the coffee on the taste. I'm not getting strong chocolate like I'd get from a rich sherry cask. There's a bit of vanilla in it. It's still got some of that astringency. I don't know. I think it's just the profile, the Glenmorangie. This is my understanding is one of their higher end than their introductory line, but it's not wowing me. The nose is a little better that it sat in. I think the nose is better than the palate. I'm going to try it with a bit of water. Let's see here. Let's see what we get with a little water. The water I think has made the nose smoother and brought out a bit more fruit. It gives me more orange. I think it's much better with the water, actually. There's wood spice in it too. Let's see what it's like with water. Well, it's smoother to me with the water, but it's got this taste that it just doesn't appeal that much to me. Not to say it wouldn't appeal to many others. We all have our own individual tastes, and that's what's great about whiskey, right? It's kind of like food, or what one person loves and another person doesn't, and vice versa. The empty glass smells pretty damn good, though. Anyway, I'm going to say my rating to the other whiskeys I've reviewed and other whiskeys I have and tried and have yet to review. I don't think I would buy a bottle of this, especially at the 200 plus range. I feel there's a lot of much better bottles out there for that price and for a lot less. I'd have to give this a rating of about, for me, about an 82. Maybe even an 80. It's just not to my liking that much. But I really appreciate getting that sample and having the opportunity to taste this. I've heard about it a long time, and it's first opportunity. Hey, thank you for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't. Like if you enjoyed this review, and share with your friends. There's a link to my Instagram below and my blog where you can read about different things about whiskey you might find interesting. Thanks again for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on my next review. Maybe we'll have another live hunt. We'll see what we find. I don't want to show you the ones where I fail. What's the fun of that? There's nothing in there. So take care, and I'll see you the next time at the Linen Closet. Bye now.